I'm not sure if it's going to be an all Ferrari day, but we'll see. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. We're getting ready to spend a day in the shop, like we do 5 days a week if we work 5 days a week. I'm glad you're here. We'll finish getting this place open up. We can learn a thing or two, have some fun, enjoy a beautiful day. The temperature is going to double from what it is now. About 48 degrees. It's supposed to hit 82. Hope the weather's nice where you're at. I'm not used to seeing my breath. It only happens about 2 weeks out of the year. But things are going pretty well. We've been kind of busy getting some of these big jobs done. Hopefully this BMW might even be off the rack. It's only been about 2 months, but there's some progress on it. We're a little bit chilly because we're wearing shorts. You wear a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, and shorts, and then you peel off your sweatshirt about 10 o'clock when it hits the 80s or mid-70s or whatever. Florida weather is awesome. If you don't like it, wait a few minutes and it'll be different. Except in the summer, then it's always 95. Let's finish getting this place open up and get started. Stay tuned. Alright, we're just about ready to start putting this back together. We left off yesterday. I cleaned these gasket surfaces. I've got to lay it in. If you saw yesterday's video, you got to hook these lines up and tighten those. 22 on the fitting, 24 on the tank, on the cooler, to hold that while you tighten the line. And then 410s hold the two sides on, and we slip this onto the front. Then we'll snug up all our clamps, and then I got new intake gaskets to put on once we get all that together. I don't want to have it all at the same time. I'm going to put this back in first. That's how I'm going to do it. But first, we got a 2005 Chrysler Sebring convertible. It doesn't crank intermittently. We'll take a look at that. Oh, that doesn't work. That is interesting. Right now it starts. Let's get that windshield where we can see out of it. What do you say? Oh, that's kind of crazy. I'm gonna pull it up to the shop in case it does it again. That way I'll have it nice and close up at the shop. Check engine lights on. 62,000 miles. That's all it's got. It is 20 years old though, and low mileage doesn't necessarily mean it lasts longer, because everything deteriorates with age as well, unfortunately. Sometimes it can be worse when a car sits a lot because it lets gas go bad and all kinds of other things happen, but that's neither here nor there. I am going to wipe off the door panel. This is all old stuff. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to wipe that down and grab a scanner and see what kind of codes we got, and we'll try starting it a few times. Alright, we got our door panel cleaned up. We got our scan tool going. The battery's pretty low. Apparently it stayed on from the last time I used it, which was real early yesterday, I believe. I want to see if this check engine light has anything to do with security. You know, the key didn't seem to want to unlock the doors, so maybe there's something going on with the key, so it intermittently doesn't crank or doesn't start because of that. We'll usually get some kind of telltale in the cluster saying it thinks it's being stolen. We'll find out, see what the codes are. Hopefully before my scan tool dies. Don't worry, we got more. We already know it's charging good, as well as our scanner's down to 6%, but we're at 14.2 in the charging. Come on, man, what are you doing? It didn't want to automatically identify itself, but it took like 4 minutes for it to decide to let me do manual. It wouldn't let me back out or anything. Kind of strange. Maybe because the battery's low, I don't know. What the heck is that noise? That would drive me nuts. There you go, it's fixed. Half hour. Just a joke, man. Take it easy. I saw you typing. This is going to take a minute. Hopefully the battery doesn't die, but PCM not equipped. What? Come on, man. Killing me, dude. I'm gonna have to scratch this whole thing, get a different scanner. It's acting up this morning. Taking forever. A TCM code. Another way it won't start, obviously, some of you will know, but if it doesn't see park or neutral, it's also not going to let the engine crank. Even though it might physically be in park and holding the car, if the switches don't tell it it's in park, it's not going to crank. So that's a possibility. We'll see. All right, it's auto fix time. Battery's charged on this bad boy. Uh-oh. New version is available. You must update. I just did that. Oh, you know what? VCI. Got it down there. Yep, see? Told you. Go ahead and do your thing, and we'll come back when you're good and ready. I'm not even going to try auto ID in this one with this scan tool. I just hit Chrysler. So hopefully it'll go a little quicker now that it's all up to dated. Manual selection. Man, the motor mounts on this thing, you can see it shaking, and the steering wheel a little bit. It's not terrible, but it is noticeably shaking. That's why the advisor was making that noise. All right, it's gonna take a minute. Apparently the car's modules are so old, it's really struggling to talk. Like the other scan tool did the same thing. Sebring Stratus Coupe. Diagnosis, auto scan. See if this one sees an ECM. The other one said it didn't have one. So if this says it doesn't have, oh, fault. Okay, that's working. It's one of the things that I was watching a YouTube channel last night, Saving the Industry podcast or something like that. They got about 6,000-7,000 subscribers. They put a lot of effort into making good videos. They got good audio. They all sit around a table and discuss the industry. And the intentions seem like they're good, but they sound like a bunch of smart guys that don't really get much time out in the actual shop. Things like, I just spent 25 minutes just getting my scan tool updated. Of course, if I was using it every day, it would probably be a little quicker, depending on what update you get. That was a main program update. That took 95% of the time. So that's right there, you're almost a half an hour into it. You got to update your scan tool. And they were talking about getting rid of mechanics that aren't productive and take too long to do diagnosis and stuff like that. It just seemed a little backwards. They made some good points, but it sounded to me like they just need to get out in the shop a little bit more. Try to do it themselves and see how easy it is. But everyone's got a lot of opinions when they're not the one doing it. But I had a bunch of comments. I typed and erased them and typed and erased them as they were talking, and I just decided not to leave a comment because there's definitely one thing I found in the industry, especially when you're dealing with pretty unrealistic and they're disconnected from what's going on in the shop. So reasoning with them, and they even said it in that podcast, if people are confrontational or tell you you're not doing it right, fire them. So it tells you a lot right there. Good luck finding good mechanics, because most good mechanics, once they know you don't want their input, they're probably going to move on. So they made it sound like mechanics are a dime a dozen, but shops are a dime a dozen too. They're everywhere. There's a shop every 2 or 3 miles in almost every major city I know. So anyway, a shop's as good as its weakest link, and sometimes that's at the front desk, sometimes that's in the shop, and a lot of shops could do a lot of things better. Those guys seem like they're all in management and trying to find out why the technicians are so bad and costing them money. That's kind of what the vibe is. But check it out if you want to see for yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm taking it all from a mechanic's perspective. I've been a manager, I've been a shop owner, but honestly I'm much better as a mechanic than I am as a shop owner. That's why I don't have my own shop right now. This is taking too long is what I'm saying. All right, to send a report on this one, you put in the mileage, status report, report to cloud. Mileage, file name is going to be Sebring.
I want to leave the date in there. Oop, come on, man. Okay, these are tiny little buttons. Sebring. Save. Save. Oh, it wants the license plate and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
All right, once I put the tag in, worked like a charm. Now we can review it, see all our codes and our modules. Battery was disconnected, low battery voltage, transponder communication failure, downstream fuel trim lean. So that's pretty cool. Now we can send by email. So I'm 40 minutes in now, and I haven't got to where I'm trying to figure out what the problem is, just because of the updates, sending a report. I'm not really familiar with this tool. So a 1 hour diag on an intermittent problem with the normal things that happen with this kind of stuff, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes things take time when you do them right. Email sent successfully. All right, let's get in here. Stop flapping. Do some diag work. I want to go in my ECM, and I'm going to bring up starting data and cranking data and those kinds of things, and then I'm going to play with the key a few times and see if we get it to act up and show us what the customer is talking about. I've seen everything from little old ladies who aren't quite turning the key all the way, or they haven't quite put it all the way into park. Could also be potentially something going on with this key, but number one priority, I've looked at the codes. I'm going to do the inspection on the car. We have to do that on every car. And then I'm going to try to duplicate what she came in for and get it to happen. If I can get it to happen, I can figure it out. Who knows how long it might take to get it to happen. I don't have information. It says intermittent. I don't know if that's once a month, every other time they try to start it. I've started it 5 or 6 times already. So far, nothing. It starts every time. But we'll play with it a little bit. I know that check engine light is because of an oxygen sensor type code or a manifold vacuum leak, that kind of thing. And if we get it to act up, I'll show you. I hear exhaust leaks. That's probably, it has a post-cat lean code, which usually means exhaust leaks, unless the sensor goes bad. Generally, if you got a lean problem, you're going to have it on the first O2 sensor as well as the rear. But this is a V6, so I'm guessing that the noises I hear real slightly are probably why it's causing that. She didn't ask about it, but I did clear it. It'll come back. I can't get it to act up. It keeps starting. I'm going to put my scan tool stuff away, try to get this to act up, and test the batteries in the remote. We have a TPMS sensor tester, also tests the strength of the remote batteries. And I'm going to keep playing with it today, and we'll see if we get it to act up. So we're coming up on an hour. Half of an hour of it was me getting my scan tools updated. We'll see what happens with this one. That is strange. So the key fob's working. This is this older TPMS tool. If you go on the main screen, has a transponder section as well as the regular TPMS stuff it does. Our launch one, we have I think it's Autel actually. We have an Autel one, a newer one, but the battery's dead in it because you got to put them on charge once in a while. But the transponder's working, but the car doesn't see it. All right, I keep trying to work on the Ferrari for the boss, but it's just not happening yet. I've done a couple of little noise things I didn't film because it's boring. 2022 Chrysler Pacifica making a squeaking noise in the left front. He left. He's going to go to Chrysler because we were going to charge him for a strut, and it's under warranty. And now this one, customer says, another shop said it's rusty, take it to the junkyard. So we have cleared the drive-on rack, so I don't have to try to lift it by the rockers, and we'll pull it in here and see just how rusty it is. 2009 Lexus SUV, only 113,965 miles, and a love rating of 6. Let's put a window down. No keys locked in cars. Blinking tire light, TPMS codes, no other lights on. Let's see how rusty this thing is. I always get a real good idea how rusty something is by, oh, look at that. When the hose clamps are rusty and the throttle body's corroded, it's probably pretty rusty. Got leaking valve covers and stuff, but let's see. Tires look decent. Wipers, good. Brakes. Oh, they're good. Let's get a look at this rust in the back. That's not good product placement. There you go. It's like watching a sitcom. Like Married with Children. It's not that bad. Not like Eric O level yet. 2009, so what is it, 16 years old. Got new lower arms. It does have rust, but I don't see anything tragic yet. Let's look in the back. Oh yeah, this is a little rustier. The rear diff case is delaminating. Nothing too tragic. I mean, looks like the subframe would unbolt and be replaceable, but the hardware might not let you. So could get serious if you start trying to unbolt it and bolts break in the frame. Then yeah, it's definitely rusty, but I wouldn't say it's trashed. You can't do a wheel alignment. This stuff's not going to move. Normally something that bad, you cut the bolts out, air hammer them out of the hole, put new bolts in it. The bushings commonly get destroyed because the metal sleeve inside the bushing is rusted to the bolt normally. Let me let them know what I'm seeing and show the customer, and we'll see if we're going to do anything with this. The only problem I'm seeing is the snowball effect, because you start touching stuff and other stuff starts going. You got to be prepared for a big bill. Is the car worth spending $5,000 to $8,000 on? Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. Not easy to start like I had hoped. Some guys pull the lines off the other side on the transmission, hook this up, and then reconnect those. But I'm going to see if I can do it without doing that. Do not use power tools or you'll end up sad. I'm just rocking the fitting a little bit, trying to find the threads without doing anything silly. You kind of lay on your stomach so long though, you gotta take a break probably if it doesn't get started here soon. Alright, now I just gotta tighten them up after I take a break.
Come back, tighten those up really good with the 2 wrenches I've got just in weighting, 24 and 22 millimeter I mentioned earlier. Once those are tight, lay it in place, torque down the little manifold, the coolant crossover, and tighten the clamps last, all 4. I intentionally didn't tighten the back one in case I have to reposition anything. Those lines, those braided lines, you're going to determine where that thing lays exactly, and it's going to be relaxed due to the memory of those lines. It's another reason I didn't want to detach them from the back.
1 inch now, these are different sizes. I've already tightened them. I'm just going to check it one more time for fun. You guys know how I don't like to do stuff twice. Although, sometimes it still happens. That's good. Now I just got to get my rubbers on it and the crossover. Boots are totally different than the original ones. Make sure no wires are pinched. 4 washers. Get all my nuts on it. I gotta look up the torque spec too. I know the manifold is 88 inch-pounds. I gotta look up the torque spec for this. It might be the same. We'll just snug them for now. Get the quarter drive. I'm not going to tighten the rubber boots till last. I probably shouldn't be using a magnetic socket right now, but it's handy. Let's go to 88 inch-pounds, which I've already probably exceeded, which that's fine. They're decent sized bolts, and I can't find specifications anywhere. I think they are slightly larger than the intake bolts. and the intakes are 88. I'm going to revise that and bump that up, make a revision right on the fly. 100 inch-pounds. Let's try that. A lot of times I'll see how that feels and I'll adjust. I want things tightened evenly. Hey, how you doing? Hey. I know the beauty is amazing and you want to take a look. Let's focus. Stay focused. That's 105 inch-pounds, so I'm calling that a win. Alright, they gave me a car to check the brakes on, but before I go to that, I'm going to tighten up these clamps and make sure this is all where it's supposed to be. There's a little lip here and a little lip here. I want them inside of that. There's no gaps. It's about how they was. I don't want to go any tighter on that front one because the bolt actually started to tweak. We don't want any of that action. Look at this 2010 Mazda CX-7 luxury SUV from the Japanese Motor Corporation with the big M in the logo. It almost looks like a bird, but I guess this is supposed to be part of it. I don't know. It's confusing. Shouldn't this be like blacked out from here to here or something at least? I don't make the logos. I wish I did though. It sounds like I care. Let's see here for mileage. I think we got 371 miles. We did brakes on it last year, and see, here's a noise. So we're gonna check the brakes. Can't have any noises. Oh, what rating is 6? Oh, they really are brand new, aren't they? Oh my goodness, the front brakes are even newer. I thought the back were new. The back aren't as new as the front. I mean, they're not even hardly dirty yet. All right, new ball joints, new brakes, new rotors, new alternator. Probably can't see it. Got a new alternator, new belt, new battery. So we have to drive it some more to see where the noise is. We got a really bumpy road around the building. I went down that, I didn't hear anything. So let's look at the check engine light. Got the auto fix out. I know there's a door open. I always did like the red dashes the Mazda have. You got the, whoop, the heck? Oh, that's right, Autel. I gotta tell it I don't want to do the same car. I have to tell it I'm changing cars. Yeah, I exited that car a while ago, bruh. What is up with you? Okay, I took it. Mars dog. There it is. Let's get these two sharing a bed, and we'll go ahead and see what's up. This is weird too that Autel does. Instead of reading the VIN and filling it in, it tells you you got to push a button, read, and it reads the VIN. I don't understand it. Maybe I can change something in the settings. Any of my Autel master technicians out there now? Even my Autel lube techs. That's fine. I'll take your input. I don't know what I'm doing. Yep. System data loading. The BSM is not fitted. Okay. That's fine. Keyless entry. Yep. It's equipped with that. Alright. Report is sent. Cylinder 3 misfire. And these Mazda dogs, the turbo intercooler is over the valve cover and the coils and stuff. So they're a little fun to pull off there. 104,000 miles. I'm gonna have to look into history. I think we normally do most of the work on this car. I'm not sure if we did or not, but I definitely want to look and see if we've done a tune-up and those kinds of things, because at 104,000 it needs to be done if it hasn't been. And then once we have the intercooler out of the way, we can take that number 3 coil out, look at the spark plug, see what it looks like, get an idea of whether we might have a mechanical issue or electrical. But
It's intermittent. I drove it and it was running great. She said the light was blinking and then the check engine light stayed on steady and then it started running good again. She said it was shaking. It started running good when the light went steady. So something's either going on, probably injector or coil. Let's go live data, see if we can see misfire data in this thing. And we'll bring that up and we'll take a look and see if we can get it to act up. Worst case scenario, it's only about 30 minutes work to take the intercooler off. It's a little silly, but it's not that big of a deal. Some of the bolts are hard to get to in the back, but you can take it off and move the coil, put it all back together and do that like I did on that other car. It's probably going to be a coil, but we'll see. A lot of times if it's an injector, they'll either misfire cold and start running good when they warm up, or they'll run good cold and start misfiring when they warm up. Where a coil, for some reason, tends to be bad, like under a load going up a hill, it'll start misfiring. As soon as you bring up the demand, if the coil is only capable of producing 8 or 10,000 volts and the engine needs 25 to go up a hill, then it'll misfire when that load comes up. So coils tend to be pretty cut and dry, although that last one I did misfired very rarely. If you saw it, what was that? Do you remember what kind of car that was I did? I want to say that was like a, I want to say it was a Kia or a Hyundai or something like that. Oh, you know, it was a Toyota. I think it was a Toyota. And she didn't want to do anything except the one coil, and I did it late at night after we closed, actually. Because I had moved the coil. The problem was so intermittent. I moved the coil, drove it again, and I got like 3 misfires on a different cylinder where I moved the coil to. And that was a sketchy one, but it's fixed. All right, enough flapping. Let me find the misfires, and we'll bring them up, and we'll see what it does for us. Well, that's unfortunate. There's no misfire data in live data, and there's no special functions or active tests with misfire data. So we're gonna have to go into OBD2. I'll just real quick, in case I missed it, you tell me if I missed it. Barrow, boost, brake, desired catalyst, desired electronic drive, engine revolution. Don't highlight that. Fuel injection, fuel load, fuel pressure, fuel tank, generator, heated exhaust, ISC, intake air temp, long-term fuel trim, malfunction indicator, mass airflow, power steering, refrigerant. At least it's in alphabetical order. Thermostat, throttle position, boom, done. So you see, you didn't believe me, I showed you now. Active test, same thing. There's a lot of cool tests, but no misfire data. It'll let you turn off injectors. So if I turn off the injector in cylinder 3, I can say, yep, cylinder 3 is the one that's misfiring. The only time that injector test is really good is if you want to check injector flow, or if you suspect you might have a compression problem or something like that. You can kill that injector and verify which cylinder to do a compression test on if you're only going to do one cylinder, that kind of thing. If you have a dead cylinder, when you kill that injector, it's not going to make much of a difference in the way it's idling. It'll be the same. You kill a second cylinder and it'll really run bad. That way you pinpoint what cylinder the problem's going on in. But we don't have any misfires in this, is my point. And it's the long-winded version of it. I apologize. So let's go to OBD2 and we'll bring that up. Alright, I told it get out of this car and it got mad, but now we're going to get along just fine. EOBD2 auto scan. It's going to figure out which communication method it wants, and then it's going to hook up. Then we're going to be good to go. We should be able to go into mode 6. We'll go, let's look in live data. I don't think it'll be in here. It's a different screen. I'm not used to the Autel layout. Even on our Shop Tools Autel, I don't use it. You basically want to be in mode 6, 53, looking at your misfires. Number of warm-ups since codes cleared, 56. Distance traveled, 315 miles. Number of DTCs, 1. Onboard monitor, mode 6. Okay, I see what they're doing there. That was cool. I'm smart. I figured it out. 2010, man. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Misfire counts. Now I'm looking at these min max, and the actual value is what I want to see. This is the minimum amount of misfires, the maximum that's allowed, the value. I can figure out which cylinder they're talking about if we get to where we see some misfires. A3, A2, A4 39. That's not a lot of misfires, is it? This one A5, 2 misfires. So most likely, since it starts at A2, I'm gonna say that's cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, and cylinder 4. What do you think? That's what I'm going with. That right there, that's concerning. The other problem is this is probably going to be hard to find current misfires. It felt like it shook just a second when I started it right there. But these didn't increment up. If this climbs up to 40, 42, assuming this is live data, it'll update if it misfires more, and I'll be able to see that. Now what I'll have to do probably is clear the codes, move the coils, go on a drive, and see if I move this to cylinder 1, then under A2 I should see a value that increases, and this A4, which is cylinder 3, should stay at 0 once I clear the codes. But I'm going to keep looking around here a little bit, hunting and pecking, see if I can bump into some misfires that'll be a little easier to sort out for you guys. And it saves everybody time if we can do that. Mazda and Ford, I don't know why they like to make finding misfires a little harder. If I had a Ford tool or a Mazda tool, I'd probably be able to see it. That's what I really don't like about it the most, is they just keep it from you. It's not that it's not available. You can do some power braking and see if we get this thing to misfire. I don't like to load the converter too long because you heat up the transmission fluid pretty good and all. You definitely don't want to do any damage, but you can do that for a limited amount of time, 2 or 3 seconds, 4 seconds maybe, and you'll feel usually if a coil gets loaded like that, it would show itself. If the problem's on the primary side of the coil, then it doesn't care about the load. If it's in the secondary side, then the load will force it to act up. So that, like that Toyota had the other day, was a problem on the primary side of the coil. So we're gonna have to play with this thing and get under that intercooler, I believe, to take a better look. Let me get my flashlight. You guys hang out right there a second. I'll be right back. You can get to number 1. It looks like someone's had them off. I put the harness back. It looks like, I don't know who put the alternator in, but the harness wasn't back where it goes. It was kind of like tucked under this bracket. So I picked it up and pushed it back in the pin. You can see where it's broken off this, so I knew it went up there. But that's neither here nor where it goes. You got to pull that intercooler dealio off, and I think if I move the coil from 3 to 1, I can verify if the problem moves. But the problem is it's so intermittent. It's going to be injector, like I said earlier. It could be carbon on the valves. I have a lot of problems with that. We're going to get some testing time. I'm going to have to pull it all apart. I'm not going to throw a coil in it. I don't want anyone to be sad, and frankly, I don't want to have to do it twice either. I want to do it once. So we'll pull it apart. We'll ohm the injectors. We'll ohm the coils. We'll get a good idea what's going on by reading the spark plug, and then we'll know where to go from there. No shotgun here, man. No shotgun. We're not duck hunting. Oh, Bessie's back. A titan in the industry, a titan in my life, and a titan in the shop. You might remember this one. We put a bunch of actuators in it, and one of the ones we put in is no good. So we're gonna change it under warranty. So I really want to get this truck fixed to this customer so they can stop coming in to visit me. Although I appreciate when they stop by to say hi, I don't really want them to come back because something's not working that I fixed, or that I allegedly fixed, or shotgunned, or oh, hang on, it's a short ride. Oh, couldn't do it, could you? Couldn't do it. All right, I hope you can see from there. I'm totally taking a guess that you can see. And I asked them, did you get one from Nissan this time? No, same one. Okay. Perfect. Anybody see anything wrong? Not really sure how you get a warranty part and it's wrong, but I mean, that's not even close. I wonder if they got me the upper again. This is the lower. All right, let me let them know real quick. All right, while they work on the actuator, we got an air fuel ratio sensor too. At least I hope we do. Get ready to pop it out of here. I said, you know what? It's gonna be a heck of a show. I thought it was gonna be more of a show. I apologize. That is, it's good when a plan comes together. The entertainment value through the roof. My job, easy peasy. PB blaster, soaking on that thing for while I was working on the actuator. Nice. Now, you get to find out if the parts are the same. Known in the aftermarket business as correct. No matter how many mistakes I made, you can always count on Grandma to tell you you're perfect. This is an oxygen sensor. See how big this tank is? See how little this one is? I think they got me the wrong one. Looks like it'll plug in though. That's kind of sketchy. Okay, this opening looks more like an air fuel ratio sensor opening. How did they get the tank so small? Let me verify before I try to put this in, and I have other kinds of weird codes. You see the shape of the original one, and I showed you how this one's narrower. I'll show you something. You'll probably find it interesting too, since I did. Search the part number. Looks different. So this is an O2 sensor. Someone bought a O2 and a wideband, and they returned the O2 sensor in a wideband box because it's cheaper. That's what I'm guessing. But this is the part number on the box, 25679. It's not the same thing. If we go over here, they're all the same. Wideband O2 sensor. There it is. And that is not what this is. So, someone switched it out and saved a couple bucks. Good for them. All right. I gotta let this down, pull it forward so I can get the door closed tonight. All right, might as well come over here and get a little something done on the Ferrari today. I was hoping to get the intake back on today and finish it tomorrow. But, you know, at least what I can do with the parts we have now. But we tried to get a few other things done, and even though they didn't work out, you know, it's admirable that we tried. So, I pull the old gaskets off. Some of them are breaking, some of them are coming off. I got a razor blade scraper. A lot of times I'll use a regular razor blade, but it's another situation where I don't want to drop something down in there. So that would be bad. I'm trying to get these off of here in one piece if I can. Even the pieces of gasket I don't want going down there, so they're not in terrible shape, but I'm changing them. We got new ones. Something that's this hard to get to. I don't know what you'd call it, tedious, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking when you know you could drop something that you don't really want to drop at all. So this is another tedious process. I'm going to get all these cleaned up and replaced, and maybe we'll be ready to go in the morning. And I'll have some parts coming from for the Titan, and I got approval on the Mazda to take the intercooler off and test the coils and plugs and injectors and see where the problem might lie. The problem's going to be for us is, since it's intermittent, it's very possible everything could test good, in which case I'll move coil 3 over to cylinder 1. It looks like I can get out without taking the intercooler back off, and then we'll try that. And obviously if the problem don't move, then we know we're dealing with an injector, because compression problems are rarely ever intermittent. Possible sticky valve guide and things like that maybe, but this car's low mileage, so I don't think so. Anyway, let's finish this up, and we'll come back when I got these gaskets on, and we'll talk about what might happen after that. All nice new gaskets. That last one there was hardest one to get off, which is how it would usually work. You'd expect furthest one away, hardest to get to. It's the one stuck on the best. I've been doing this long enough to know that was how it was going to work. It came off like in as many pieces as possible. So, but we got them all. And we'll start putting the plenum on tomorrow for loud. See what happens with all that. Not a lot of time left in the day, but we'll pop this off. The back wasn't hooked onto anything. I thought there was a bracket back there or something he's hooked onto, but I don't see it. 210s to get this grill off, and then we can see what we got to do. Let's see what we can see. I don't know how far we'll get tonight, but you guys will at least have a good idea. We got a clamp. All right, carry on. You got your widgeting?
Whoa, that's what you was talking about.
Yeah. Nissan and Mazda, man, they're 4-cylinders. They cover the coils and stuff.
Well, why would you put an intercooler on top of those?
I don't know. I guess they feel like it intercools stuff from up there. I don't know. I don't know. They got some kind of reason. Yeah, you got it under the hoses and hose here. I got a hose here. And then this bolt back here is long.
I've never used one of those things, but I mean, you can order a Deadpool, drop one, or you can call a company. That whole thing. You can do it. Great.
Something's happening. These hoses have some traction. I want to put something over that. And I'm going to put something over that. I can't even get to the injectors to test those. Alright, let's just pull this number 3 coil out and get a look before we get too crazy. I'm leaning towards injector. Maybe just because I got burned by one not long ago. Alright. Go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to put it over here for sure. Either way. Let's pull the spark plug out. Woo-wee. Nice job. Nice and tight. Switching over to power tools. It says Mazda dog right on it. Doesn't look terrible. Looks maybe just a tiny bit on the rich side, but nothing horrible. If it had a mechanical problem, you would see traces of oil and unburned fuel and things like that. If you just saw fuel and it was damp with fuel, obviously it has no spark, which, since we have an intermittent problem, that even with the spark problem, it would look pretty normal. If I pull another plug out, I can compare them, and you can just see minor differences if it is an ignition problem, but I'm not seeing anything to be concerned about, even just till I pull another plug out. I already put the coil in number 1, so I wouldn't get it mixed up or any crazy stuff. I think I might have to put this thing together and try that. If the problem doesn't move, then we're going towards an injector. This does have direct injection apparently. I thought it was going to be an injector rail here like the earlier versions of these engines. Ford engine, I believe. We might be coming to a crawl for today. This is a spark plug from 2. This is a spark plug from 3. Just ever so slight of a difference. Where this one's tiniest bit richer, but you'd think it'd be the other way around if we're talking about an injector. Could be an injector sticking open causing a rich misfire, but it's not as common. You might get a code with that. We'll switch the plugs too. I put the coil in cylinder 1 and I'll put the spark plug from 3 and 2. I was really hoping at this point to own the injectors for you. I didn't even stop to think about direct injection. 2010. I'm not 100% positive. Let's look for the injectors and get eyeballs on them. Make sure my direct injection hypothesis is accurate. Yep, we got a big cast aluminum fuel injector rail, which I'm thinking means direct injection. That's unfortunate. At this point, I put the intake back on, the intercooler back on, see if my problem moved. I moved the spark plug to 2, the coil to 1, and we'll see if we get misfires in 2 or 1. I couldn't get it to do it, so we'll take a little more driving and testing tomorrow. And if the problem hasn't moved and we still flag number 3, I cleared the codes as well. If we still flag number 3, then we're headed definitely towards an injector, although it's quite a bit more work than some earlier cars. Alright guys, with Bill on vacation, one guy didn't come in today, and the oil change guy leaves early every day because he drives far. So we got to close up the shop. Me and Joe shut it down. Open the shop up, shut the shop down. Gotta be careful, it's a family show. Thanks for watching, spending some time today. Hectic day. I worked on like 3 cars for weird intermittent noises. I didn't film any of those because it's just not productive. I worked on the Ferrari about an hour, hour and a half today. I didn't get to put much time into it at all. But we did get a few things done. Tried to do the Titan. Working on that Mazda. I looked at a Nissan with a bad transmission. I don't think I filmed that one either because you start it up and the transmission pump goes, and when you try to drive it down the road it shudders and lurches, and it's a CVT Nissan, so cut and dry, so I didn't film that one. Of course, if I do end up putting a transmission in it, we'll film that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. I can't tell you how much it helps me knowing that you guys are there keeping an eye on me, so I keep it straight. Torque the like button on your way out. Hope I see you in the next one, because you're awesome.